Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It's a new week, and I'm late. I made a library booking for 11:30, and for some reason my brain was like, "Oh yeah, if you get up at 10, you can be there." It's nearly 11:30. I should have been getting up at 9, so I did the maths wrong. I somehow forgot about the whole hour it takes me to get to uni yesterday, which was quite stupid. But I'm dressed, I'm ready, I'm gonna go, and I've technically checked in, so to be honest, when I get there, it's probably going to be more like 12:30. I'm just going to knock on the door and be like, I've made a booking. I know there's like a half an hour rule where if you're half an hour late, you lose the booking, but I don't really see what the point of that is. I booked it for that whole time. If I choose to be late or I'm not there, I still decided I want to be there for that whole time. And it's not very flexible. Like last week, when I had something going on, I can't remember what it was. It meant that I missed the half an hour extra deadline. I think it was when I had a meeting with my supervisor. How am I supposed to predict how long a meeting's going to be? Like, if it lasts longer, it does. So I didn't go because part of my brain was like, oh, you've missed it now. It would be like really rude and like inconsiderate to turn up late and tell somebody else to leave. But fuck it. I'm gonna go. I made the booking. Who cares if I'm an hour late? I'm going. So I'm ready. I'm gonna go because we actually really do need to get on with this lit review. Tonight I'm gonna also go to the supermarket on the way home and buy stuff to make dinner, and I'm gonna batch meal again, like batch cook some stuff because last week when I did that on Monday, it was really useful because I literally didn't think about what I was gonna be making for dinner for the rest of the week. And I personally like taking out that whole need to think. To be honest, I don't want to think. I just want to be able to have my dinner and it be there because that's how I end up ordering takeaways. Because for some reason, if it's not in front of me or I can't just pick it up, all right, it's not just going to be delivered to me in an hour. I just don't want to do it most days because I'm too tired, or like maybe some people say I'm lazy. I'll take it. If that's what you think, that's fine. But I need some kind of ease. So I'm going to buy the stuff to make spag bol, I think, tonight. And hopefully I'll have had another chunk of my lit review written. But I think we should definitely get going. Can I just say how crazy it is that in archaeology I'm reading this book, look at it. Published 1951. It's basically an artifact. Anyway, but they've got sick drawings, so just look at this beautiful bison. But I think that's my favourite thing about archaeology is just reading such old books that they're basically artifacts in their own right and then actually referencing them. Like most scientific things I know for sure I like don't reference anything older than 10 years ago. 1951. I have a reference from earlier. Let me just find it. 1797. I'm so tired. I just closed my eyes while sat on the toilet and I wasn't sure if I was going to open them again. Right, so it's 7:30 and I've been here since 12 o'clock. So that's basically an 8-hour work day. I'm on another book. I think this is like the 6th book I've read and they're all pretty big ones. But obviously I'm skim reading, flicking through, finding useful information. But trust me, to get an epic playlist going and reach flow state and lock in at 7:30. Could I have not done this at 1 o'clock? But I'm having a great time. I don't know when I'm going to go home, but I do know I'm not making spag bol when I get in. So I might just go to the supermarket first. I need to check what time I was open till because that's going to be the latest I can stay. But I'm having a blast. Right, sorry for the poor lighting, but I'm currently home. I made it. It's 10 to 10. I went to Morrison's to see if I could get anything for my dinner, but nothing was calling my name, quite like a cheeky little chica. No, but a chicken. So that's what I got. It's currently in a big bowl. So it's a massive amount, I will agree. But there's the rice curry and then I put onion bhajis on top. Mix it all together and then I eat half of it, put the other half in the fridge and have that for tea tomorrow. So it's a pretty good investment really because I get 2 days of enjoyment out of it. But I'm going to eat this, watch some YouTube and then go to bed because I am so tired. But I feel like I've got a lot done today, so I'm also happy. So I think that's a good way to end the day. Right, I actually am going to go to bed in a second. Can you see how tired my eyes are? But I'm going home on the weekend to see my mum for belated Mother's Day. And I was like, oh, do you want me to bring my gel nail stuff and I can do your nails, Mother's Day manicure? Since I'm feeling quite like I've got skills these days. And she was like, yeah, what colours do you have? And I was like, it's kind of hard to take a picture. So I'm going to put it here. I did just spend the last hour making like a colour chart, but it's like really satisfying to look at. And it's also made me realise I have a clear preference for green and brown. I did order I ordered my first ever blue colour and another couple reddy orange colours because some of the designs I see on Pinterest, they have like those more like muted yellows and blues and browns and like pinky red orangey like terracotta tones, and I don't have anything like that, and I'm sure I could mix it up with what I've already got, but Miley had a sale on and that's where I was getting my gel polishes from, and they also had oh no, they didn't have anything. I got a bunch of money back from the council, so I was like, what a better thing to spend it on than some more gel polishes. So I can hopefully do my mum's nails this weekend and she'll be very happy, I'm sure. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. You'll be very proud of me this morning. When Jack's alarm went off at 7:30, I also got up, even though technically my alarm wasn't set until 10, because I need to be at uni for 12 today. So I actually did the maths properly, which is nice because I didn't want to obviously be late for my lecture. And I'm definitely not going to be late because I got up like 3 hours early. It's currently now 20 to 10, so I've been up now for like nearly 2 hours. Um, have I done much? I got ready. I put some washing away. I was going to put some washing on, but I wasn't actually sure how long the washing machine takes. I feel like it can sometimes take like 2 or 3 hours, and if it wasn't done by the time I had to leave, I wouldn't have wanted to leave it in the basin all day. So today I've got my lecture and seminar at 12 till 2, and then I have my study room booked for 2 because I need to do some more of my literature review. I agreed with my supervisor to hand in some kind of draft today, even though last week when I spoke to him, I was like, I'm not sure we're going to have too much to chat about on Friday because I feel like I've not written half as much as I wanted. Because what have I written now? About 1,500 words of a 10,500 word chapter. To be fair, if I think back, I'm pretty sure we only agreed that I was going to write the first section, which is my like contextualizing prehistoric, well, Paleolithic specifically, archaeology prior to the acculturation theory. And I've talked a lot about like the racist, colonial, kind of like the weird romanticism slash religious background of like archaeology from like the 20th century and from the 19th century. And I started talking about how the evidence was seeming to change and what that meant for our understanding of Paleolithic archaeology. And then yesterday I did a lot of reading about contextualizing archaeology as a general. So I was reading quite a lot of books, especially about like lithic cultures and how analysis in that has transformed not only as its individual research niche, but also how it's impacted archaeology as a whole. Because I was trying to write like the context for lithics because they are obviously quite important to Paleolithic archaeology because lithics are the biggest piece of evidence we have, especially from that time period, given they didn't really do much else, the people who were around then. And for a long time, people didn't even think that that was possible, when we're talking about the early religious, more like antiquarians rather than archaeologists, they thought the earth wasn't older than like 4,000 BC. So they didn't even believe that there were other early human species. Everything was just apes and then us. And God made it all, of course. So that's a really big like dynamic changing time. And then when we're talking about them actually realizing, hey, there might be this evolution of, hominins, humans in general, and we've got the findings in Africa of like Paranthropus, Australopithecines, Bozai, Habilis, all these fun things. And then Neanderthals, obviously, in Europe, and Erectus and Heidelbergensis, or Cro-Magnons as they called them at the time, and how people try to wrap their heads around it in a world in which humans were the superior species that God made. And so I was just trying to understand how lithics changed that, and in my mind I knew it, but I just didn't have the references or the words to say it in a good way. So I need to keep working on that today. I'm kind of hoping I can finish writing the lithics section just so I've got a bit more to hand in. Because I have this like nagging feeling that Andy, my supervisor, is going to be like annoyed at me when at the end of the day it's my degree. Like if I don't do a good job, that's on me. That's not his fault. So yeah, I don't know. I made myself a little latte and I'm gonna drink this and then I'm gonna get going. So I'll have like an hour before my lecture and then maybe I can start drafting up a bit more of that section once I get to uni. But we shall see. Right, I've just been in Morrison's and um the lady at Timpson's was like, "Oh, I like your t-shirt. Thanks." And she was like, "Oh, have you been on Shein?" No, I don't do that. She was like, "Oh, I've got some really nice cat stuff." And I'm like, okay. And then I literally just wanted to print a picture. And she's just been showing me stuff on Shein that she bought for her wedding for like the last 5-10 minutes. And I was like trying my best to keep like a calm face. I'm like, I don't want to buy from a company like that. Not everything needs to be cheap and online. Like, just go to the shop. I don't know. It felt a bit like my idea of hell, to be honest. Someone trying to get me to buy shit off Shein. Like, she's showing me these cat nails. They're so clearly AI. We all know how I feel about AI. But I was just like, what the fuck? Please leave me alone. Please. Girls, I have to confess that after my lecture, I came home. I did not go to the library and I've been asleep literally since probably like 4 o'clock. And now it's just after 7. I did wake up about like half 6. Um, but I've had a headache since yesterday, which I was like, oh, maybe it's just because I'm dehydrated because I didn't feel very well on Sunday. So I had upset stomach. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm just dehydrated. And I woke up today with the same headache, but I was just like, oh, I'm probably just a bit tired and still maybe a bit dehydrated, even though I have been drinking a bunch of water. So I don't really know what's going on, but it feels a bit like a sinus headache because like here when I like rub it I can feel like the snot building up, and it's one of those where when you put your head forward, like even just like literally this amount, the pressure in my head, oof, like. And like earlier I was sat in that lecture and if anyone's ever had like sinus infection or like sinus headaches, or I don't know, maybe it could be the same with like tension headaches, but I felt almost like I could feel the pressure. Like now I've put my head forward, my nose is running. Hold on. I can literally like feel the pressure shifting in my forehead, and like most of the time it's in my eyes, and like my eyes just I feel like they're really heavy, um, and like it's all in my forehead, and I don't know. It's probably a combination of things. If I have got a bit of a sinus infection slash a cold coming, I've not been sleeping well, being dehydrated. I'm tired, like whatever, I don't know. But it's just one of those things where add it to the list of fucking problems, guys. Like I don't do uni work sometimes because my mental health feels rubbish and I just want to lay down. And if it's not my bloody mental health, it's my physical. There's always something fucking wrong with me. And it's getting really draining because I don't think I necessarily take that bad a care of myself, especially like this last week. Like I haven't really been struggling with my mental health, so I've been eating, you know, at least 2 meals a day that are fairly nutritious. I've been drinking water. I've been sleeping all right. Like I've been out and about most days. It's not like I've literally just been horizontal and ate shit for a week. So I don't really get it, and it's unfair. And add that to the list of reasons why I think everything in life is unfair, and I'm miserable about it. But I did also come home because context, this is almost going to feel like March 2020 instead of March 2026, but there's a meningitis outbreak in Kent since the 1st of March. I think there's been like 20 confirmed cases around like Kent, Canterbury, all that kind of area. Um, there's literally no cases in the north. And so I was spiraling. I was like, I've got fucking meningitis because my neck kind of hurts. But to be honest, if it's sinuses, it's all like the ears, throat, neck, head. And it feels exactly like a sinus infection. Like I get them semi regularly. Like it's cold and flu season, it's hay fever, it's spring, or it's a million things in it all the flipping time. Because what the flump else would it be? Um, but yes, I was kind of spiraling that I might have meningitis, and I was like, I'm just gonna go home to die, to be honest. So I did. I'm not dead, so that's cool. Which also means I didn't do any more on my lit review, and I also haven't handed it in to my supervisor. I'm just really annoyed at myself, at the world, at everything. So I'm gonna give it another quick reread, see if there's any things I can faff with. Like I've had some ibuprofen, hopefully it kicks in. Because I still feel like there's pressure in my head. And then I'm gonna send it to Andy with a little email going, I'm so sorry I didn't send this to you sooner, but I haven't felt well the last couple of days, so try my best. And I'll see you on Friday. But I'm just also like, when I have people who I have to show up for, like a supervisor, either at uni or at work, close friends when I agree to do stuff with them, because there's something wrong with me so often. I feel like they probably think get fucking grip. Like how many times have I emailed Andy since he's been my supervisor? Probably since when? October, not last year, the year before, because he was my undergraduate dissertation supervisor as well. How many times have I emailed him and gone, "Oh, I'm really sorry, I'm not feeling well." It's probably like get a fucking grip, Loki. Why is something always wrong with you? But there always is, and it's really shit. Like sometimes I'm like, I feel bad because it makes me feel rubbish when I feel rubbish, obviously, and I also feel bad for letting other people down. But then I'm like, you know what I mean? Like it's just bad situation all around. But I've just been ranting about that for like too long, so I'm gonna go do that, and then probably go back to bed. To be honest, um, tomorrow's a new day, and I'm going to work. So, oh, I don't know. I just wanna. Can you just like cancel this week already? I've also lost my student card. I couldn't find it before my lecture, but I was like, it'll be somewhere at home. I still don't know where it is. I've checked all my bags and pockets and I don't remember the last time I used it. I've now acquired a new spot on my lip as well. I had one there last week, now one here. Once again, it's late and I feel inspired, so I've just made my mum her Mother's Day card because I rather stupidly didn't get her one before it was Mother's Day, because I was like, I'm not seeing her yet, so I'll sort it before I see her. Forgot the fact that they don't tend to sell them after Mother's Day, so I thought, you know what, I'll make her one. A little throwback, classic, youthful Michaela vibes where you make like cards for people. So this is what I've made her. It's Len. I also like to always include a little Mother's Day note from the Guinea Pigs, so I drew Nola and Peanut, and I feel like I really captured their essence. Right, really quickly, because it's not 9:10 now. I don't know what's wrong with me. I set my alarm for 9 o'clock. I'm supposed to be at work at 9 o'clock. I think I've got brain eating amoebas or something. Like, am I fucking stupid? Also, look at the state of that. Oh, God. Okay, I need to get on. After my pretty bad start to the day, things looked up. I had a fun day at work. We were just prepping stuff because tomorrow we're having like a staff meeting thing with like loads of different members of staff, not just from the kitchen. As we do at the beginning of like every open year, so that's quite exciting. So we're doing the catering this year, so I was helping getting prepping stuff for that. And then we had to move a bunch of the chairs from the cafe, 80, up a flight, like full flight of stairs, into one of the bigger spaces in the main house because we need to fit everybody in there. There's like 80 people coming, and that meant carrying 80 chairs up the steps. You can only take one at a time because it's like a conserved house. You know, you don't want to accidentally hit a wall or damage something, so you have to be careful. So up and down stairs 80 times. Oh! But after that, we had pizza for lunch, so that was quite fun. But then after work, I went into town because I needed to get a couple of things, and then I did, of course, end up buying more things than I needed. But I thought I'd give you a little "what did I buy today" kind of moment. So I bought Jack a treat because he's officially accepted his PhD application, and I didn't know that at the time, but I was like, let's give him a treat. And I rang him to ask him if he wanted anything in town, and he said he didn't answer. He said no. So I was like, right, I'll just get him something. So I bought him some hot cross buns because I know he likes them for breakfast sometimes, and it's basically Easter. So I was like, you know what, treat him to some hot cross buns. And then I also bought him a little card because I realised I never got him a card for like, to say well done. And we have like on the, obviously you see the cupboards, the one over the sink and this one, we put like little postcards or nice cards on it. And this one is very cute from M&S. It's just a little smiley star, and I thought, you know what, it's also a cute print, so that'll look nice on the cupboard. I got a card from my grandma as well. And then because I printed my grandma the photo of all of our family at graduation, because everyone likes to have little family photos out, so I thought, oh, I'll, get her a nice little photo frame to put it out as a Mother's Day present. So I bought her this, oh, the lighting's bad. I bought her this little black one, which was in Next Home, because you would be shocked to find how hard it is to buy photo frames. Like, I know there's like place like Dunelm and things, but there's not one immediately in town. Like, I'd have to get the bus and go all the way to Clifton, and I don't want to get on the number 6 if my life depended on it. So I went to loads of shops, which is how I ended up with loads of random other stuff that I bought, because I was just like, oh, I like that, I'll get that. Payday vibes. So I bought her this, but ideally she wanted like a silver frame, and they didn't have one. So I'm trying to decide if I risk it and try paint it. But I think that might be a bad idea because I probably have to sand it down and then lacquer it or something. So I think I'll just give her it, and if she don't like it, she can always get another frame, or I can get her another frame a different time. And then also while I was in M&S, I was trying to decide what I wanted for tea, and the other day I defrosted some root vegetables like carrots and parsnips and stuff. They're already cubed up, and I don't remember why I bought them, but I was like, they need eating. So I was like, I think I'll make root vegetable mash. I got some little fish cakes, and I've got some broccoli that needs eating, so I'm just gonna have a little hearty dinner, and then this is the best thing. So I got this cat t-shirt on, obviously cute. Well, I was like, oh, I'll just go into Urban Outfitters because they've got a sale on. Look what I found. Another cat t-shirt, and it's green. That's the back of it. Other way. How cute. So it's just another t-shirt in it, really. So I got this little winky cap. So I liked that. And then I did try some stuff on from the sale, but none of it was still worth the amount of money. Like, the clothes just don't always fit very good. But then I got this little vest top because I've got a couple of vest tops, obviously, but they're all plain, and I want a bit more whimsy in my life. So they had this little black one, which I love that design. I really want a tattoo like that. I see so many of them on Instagram, but you know what? I'll just settle for the little vest top. So I bought those. I think that's everything. Oh, Energy, my boy, say hello. He's so cute. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna make some dinner.
It's like the Bible.
I'm home from work. No chat this morning because somebody can't be on time. I did get up on time, but I was cutting it quite thin to leaving the house, so I didn't. But I thought I'd show you all. I put my new t-shirt on, and I got quite a few compliments on it. Work was fun, I guess, if you want to call serving people who don't know how to use manners fun. But it went quite well. This is the first time we've ever catered like the spring briefing is kind of what we call it. It's the first time we as F&B have ever done it, and I think we did a pretty good job, so I'm quite happy with us. However, it's now 5 o'clock and I haven't even eaten anything besides a small piece of flapjack, so I went to the shop and I got myself a little meal deal. So brunch, I don't even think you can call it that anymore, to be honest. And then I just went to Savers and bought some very boring things like tampons and soap. So yeah, that's kind of been my day. It's been fun but long. Like, I'm glad I'm home, but I need to wash my hair really badly. Like, I washed my fringe last night just so that would look okay, but this is like 9 days of grease, so I need to wash that. And I've just got little odd bits to do tonight. Nothing very interesting, to be honest, but yeah, I guess that's what I was wishing for the other day when I was like, I just want a boring day. I have a meeting with my supervisor tomorrow to talk about what I've written for my lit review. So I'm going to go and see if he's made any comments on the draft I sent him. I'm not sure if he will have, because he was like, I understand it's a working like draft, so obviously I know it's not at a point where you'd want me to kind of rate it, so I'll just have a look. And then tomorrow evening I'm going to be going out to the pub, classic. And then I've got an exciting weekend ahead because Saturday night I'm going to be going home to my parents to do a very belated Mother's Day. And me and Mum are going to go to like a little vintage festival thing, and then I think we're probably just going to go out, maybe some drinks, some dinner. No idea what we'll be doing Monday, but we're going to hang out Monday as well, and then I'll be back in York. So pretty exciting times. Len's sniffing my jeans because I guess I must smell interesting when I come home from work. He does this every time. Right guys, as you can see, I washed my hair and it's dry and it looks pretty lovely. But while I was in the shower, I made a discovery. My gel polish was chipping off, and I had that awful feeling where when you're like washing your hair and you run your fingers through it and it gets caught in the gel. So I ended up repainting my nails. I was thinking I was going to cut them all back short, but then I changed my mind because, insert picture here, my nails are really long right now, and if you told me a year ago that they would ever look like that, I would not believe you, because my whole life I've been a chronic nail biter. So the fact that they're that long, I wasn't ready to part with it yet, even though I really should, because when you work in a kitchen you shouldn't really have long nails. But I have redone them and this is what they look like. Now, it is kind of a repeat design. I did this same stars on a bronze with a matte top coat, like for February basically, but I also did it with some green, and this time I decided just to do some brown. I'm pretty happy with them. I think they look really nice, and you'll have to let me know what you think as well. I personally love them. I was a bit disappointed to have to do them again because I obviously bought all of that gel polish the other day, as I was saying, and that doesn't get delivered till Saturday. And I was hoping that next week, for the 1st of April-ish, I could redo my nails with some of my new colours. Like, I'd been sketching out designs and ideas, and obviously that's just not how things have happened. But I am happy with them, and maybe we'll give the new colours a try when I do my mum's nails this weekend, or next time I do these, because I might end up having to chop them all off because they are really long and not really kitchen safe. But I'll worry about that next week when I'm back at work, I think. Good morning, everybody. I'm refreshing my curly hair right now because one thing I don't feel like people who don't have curly hair realise is the amount of maintenance that goes into it. Like, I scrunched and dried and product it all last night after the shower, and I still woke up and it just looks like this, which not bad, but you've lost definition, and I feel like it's still very clumpy because when I went to bed I didn't scrunch it out after the gel casted and dried on it. So that meant this morning when I wake up, it's all very like stuck together. But the good thing is it's kept definition, kind of. So I'm having a really wet and scrunch it this morning, and every single day I leave the house with curly hair. If I want to have it down and looking curly, I have to do this. So I just thought I would show you this side. However, I've picked through with my comb, obviously star the ends because they're the driest and most dead, so they knot together the worst, and then brush through the whole thing. It gets nice and fluffy, and then we have to take the beloved spray bottle and you do a light misting down the hair so you don't end up with 2 wet patches. Sandwich it so all of it's wet again, and I put so much gel in it yesterday, it's basically just reactivated the product. And then we just scrunch again, and I don't know if you can see that, but in comparison there is so much more definition on that side now than this side. So I'm gonna do it to this side and then the top half, and make sure I brush it back so I don't get the cow lick, which I don't actually have this morning. I usually wake up with like, basically I get like a part right at the back of the crown of my head, so it just looks like I'm being licked by a cow, or I've got a bald patch. And thankfully, because I didn't brush out or scrunch out all of the gel cast last night, I haven't still got a gap in my hair. But I'm gonna do this transformation to the whole of my head and then have to sit and wait for it to dry again. I will just say I love having curly hair, and I'm so glad my back, I'm like and I'm so glad that I've actually figured out how to maintain and take care of it, because I much prefer my hair now long and curly than I did when I was younger. Like, I used to have hair down to like here. If I can find it, I'll insert the picture. It was also red, but I would straighten it every single day because I just didn't know how to do all of this. And to be honest, I was lazy, and I still am, but I've just figured out how to plait my hair, so on days where I can't be arsed doing this, it ends up in a plait. But I think it looks a lot better, so I'm just gonna stop rambling and finish redoing my hair, I guess. Right, while it's wet, I'm going to do a 360, and then when it's dry, I'll do another one. So this is the front, this side, the back, and then the other side. We shall see if it dries nicely or not. Who knows? Okay, I'm back. It's been like an hour and a half-ish, and I need to get ready to leave the house to go to my meeting. So here's the mostly dry review. I think it worked all right, sort of. I really need a haircut though, because like I usually get really short layers that are like this short, and so obviously they're like chin length now because it's been like 10 months, so I really need a haircut, which is why it looks so flat at the top, and I hate that. But we're working with what we got because I'm not paying £90 for a haircut anytime soon. But here's what it looks like: the front, the side, the back. I think I got the cowlick out, but we'll see once I look at this back. I think it looks fine. It'll do. It is raining though, so I'm a little bit concerned. I feel like I need one of those little plastic hair nets that grandmas wear when they've just got their hair like curled in the salon. Right, I'm dressed to go to my meeting, but I just put my hair up the back, if you can see that. The cowlick is very much out and it looks really flat at the back, so I was like, if I at least put the sides up, it looks kind of intentional and not like I wasn't picked up enough as a baby, which is not true. But for when I haven't got layers in my hair, it just dries so flat. So that is it, and I'm gonna go now. I'm back from my meeting now, and it was so good. You know when you sit down and have a chat with an academic supervisor and you're just like riffing and ideas are coming through and you're like, this is jepic. Like, that's how I felt. It was jepic. We talked about the direction of the research, and as research does, the nature of it changes, it evolves. You modify your like progress and what kind of results you're expecting as you go. And we've kind of decided to change direction a little bit. Not 100% sure we're going to do it yet. I'm going to spend the next 2 weeks figuring that one out. But I'm feeling pretty good about it. So because of the acculturation theory and what I'm looking at, I've been doing a lot of context and background research at the minute for my literature review. And me and my supervisor both agree that I really feel passionate about the background stuff. Like, I love figuring out why people think the way they do and they work the way they do, and how those things impact the conclusions and the results that we get. And obviously that's a big part of archaeology and like archaeological history, like understanding how we got where we did and what influenced that. And my supervisor suggested that he'd been thinking, and he was like, how about instead of doing all of this literature review and then turning around and going, oh shit, I've got loads of data collection to do, how about we use what we've been reading about the history as data? And I was like, what do you mean by that? How do you use literature as data? I'm not a historian. What are you on about? We use artifacts. What the hell? And so he basically suggested that the piece of research, rather than it be about the acculturation theory and can we apply the similar ideas to creative culture, how about we look at the studies of creative culture between Neanderthals and modern humans over the last couple of centuries and determine how and why different conclusions were made, how the research has changed, what influenced those things contextually, so things like religion, science, society, politics, how did that shape archaeology at the time, specifically prehistoric archaeology, and how did those things impact the results we got? Because there's this whole idea, which I found a quote the other day by Trigger, which I thought was really useful, 1989, if you're curious, in which he said that archaeology becomes the discipline of projecting middle class ideology, which is true because for a long time archaeology has just been the study of the past, mostly done by people who were funded by or use their own money, which means wealthy, people who studied the past. Like, people who had the means to study it were not the regular people, it was people with money. And so those people obviously had big ideas about how the world and how society functions, and those ideas would potentially influence and bias the way that we interpreted results. And so that's obviously massively important when we look at like Neanderthals and modern human analysis, because the idea that the earth was only 4,000 years old, or that modern humans were the only humans, you know, we were the best, God made us, and anything else that existed within our sphere was never as good as us. Like, all of these things, obviously it's a lot more complicated than that, all of these things impacted how we looked at Neanderthal and modern humans, and especially in the creative culture, because it was like, culture as we know it didn't exist before modern humans, or Neanderthals were not cognitively capable of thinking like modern humans because they always had to be dumber and less civilized than we were because we're the best, they're the worst. And then of course that then applies to white European people are the best, and people of colour or indigenous or uncivilized populations were not as good as us, and they couldn't survive colonialism because natural selection prevented them from having the skills to do so. All of these things are so important to how we analyse the past, and I think it would be really cool, or me and my supervisor thought it would be really cool, to use all of this information to study the language and the context by which creative culture for both species has been studied historically, and then use that to build a framework for how we should do the discipline in the future. And then I was like, but then I don't get to look at like rocks. And he said, you know what, why don't we read all of this, talk about the results, discuss it, come up with a good foundation for how future research should be progressed with, and then do a case study. And I was like, sounds epic to me. So I've got a couple weeks to think about it. We've talked about different technology that I can use to do that research, because I've never done qualitative research. It's always been data of sorts. So he suggested that there is a software called NVivo. I never heard of it, but it's like a software used to analyze language, which sounds cool. I might have to learn some coding. I don't know how I feel about that yet, but I feel quite excited. Overall, I think it's going to be good fun. So I'm feeling really invigorated today after all of that. And I'm also excited to go out to the pub tonight. So I'm going to have a sit down, because I spent like the last 2 hours writing out a new plan for my old masters, and then get ready to go out, and that should be what better Friday. Honestly, I feel really, really happy right now.
College is like a massive thing. Like, it's a pretty.
Happy Saturday, everybody. I haven't really filmed anything today because I haven't really done anything. This morning I went into work for 9 o'clock because I agreed to go and accept a delivery, because I don't live far, so it saved my manager driving all the way there. But the key rep was asleep, so he did not let me in the house. So I ended up being sat outside for over an hour with the delivery, because the delivery man was like, I've got your stuff for you, and I was like, well, I can't get in, so I'll just sit here with it, I guess. And then I got in, and then I didn't end up leaving till just after 11, so I spent 2 and a bit hours with the delivery. So that was a whole thing. And then when I got home, I was just doing chores, because there were just things that needed doing. So it was just like laundry, tidying around the house, and packing my bag after I'd played Sims for 2 hours and got distracted, so I could come back to my parents. So that is why it's a different colour room. The light is actually bright, and Robert Pattinson's on the wall with various other blue tack from posters that have fallen off. So yeah, I'm back at my parents' house now, and then tomorrow is when me and my mum are going to go do Mother's Day things, belatedly. But my mum and dad are out, because apparently they've got a better social life than me. 2 days on a trot, both of them out, so me and my brother are just chilling at home, separately of course, because in this house we all like to sit in our own rooms on devices and not talk to each other. That's not a dig, I think it's quite funny. We're just not a sit down and watch TV together kind of family, which is cool. I don't mind that, it works for us. So yeah, I'm home, but then that means I feel like the guinea pigs need a moment. I've got guinea pigs at my parents' house. Well, they're my mum's. We've had guinea pigs since COVID, so like 2020, so 6 years of guinea pigs this year. But the girls have never been on my YouTube channel before, so I feel like we should document them real quick. So in front of me right now, I've got the girls. They're rumbling at each other because they're not impressed that I took them out of their little cage. Big cage, not little. So this is Nola. She's going to be, I think, 4 maybe this year. Look at her little self. She's so sweet and beautiful. She's got a little bit of a wonky head, because when we got her, she ended up having a little ear infection. So she's got a funny wonky head. And she's also got a weird little cyst on her side, which is not going to hurt her in any way, but it does make her look a bit funny. But she looks funny anyway, bless her. And then we have our newest friend in the guinea pig girl clan, who we got, I believe, 2 years ago this September, and that's Peanut. Peanut is the first guinea pig we've had that's not what do we call you now? She's a smooth guinea pig. The other ones have all had like little cowlicks. So this is Peanut. She's a bit more wiggly than Nola is. But look at her little face. She's so cute. Yeah, she's very sweet. But she's still quite young. So she's only about 1 or 2 now. But she's a very lovely girl. And she's very lively. So she likes to run around a lot. And she's very fast. So she's kind of hard to catch. But Nola is very easy to catch because we're pretty sure she's a bit blind and deaf. She got it all going on, bless her. But that's my girls. You're so beautiful. Nola, turn around, love. Your big bum in the face. Hi, gorgeous. Hi. Right, me and Mum are going to go to the vintage fair now. Got my little cat t-shirt on again, of course. And then I think we're going to go for some drinks and hang out, and then I'm going to do her nails when we come back. So it's going to be a fun day. We've had 3 pints, but we're feeling tipsy because we've not eaten any food. But we've got Sunday dinner when we get in. Yeah. I've brushed my hair out. Look at the size of it. But it's Sunday night and I really need to go to bed because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. So technically it's Monday, which means this weekly vlog is done with. It's been a good week, I think. I've done a lot. Good progress with uni, good progress with work, I think. And then I've got to spend time with my mum and my dad, my grandma, my brother, and Jack, and friends. I mean, what more could you actually ask for? So I'm feeling like it's been good, and hopefully the good vibes will continue into next week. So I just want to say thanks for watching, and yeah, I hope everybody else is having a grand time. And it's basically almost April, which is crazy. So I'm going to wish everybody a happy 2026. Happy April 2026, and I hope good things keep continuing to come.